Hello and welcome to another fresh edition of SoccerTalk with Mumini Alao. My name is Tunde Koiki, and with me in the studio is Mumini Alao as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Tunde.
Today we'll be discussing something that is particularly pertinent to the Nigerian Professional Football League, the Nigerian football scene, which is fan violence at Nigerian Professional Football League venues. Of course, you do know that the second stanza of the Nigerian Professional Football League has started on a very unsavory note. There was a case of violence at the Akure Center between Sunshine Stars and Lobby Stars. What happened was that Lobby Stars scored early in the game. Sunshine Stars thought they had a legitimate goal, which the referee bravely refused to give, and fans were absolutely livid, incensed about that. They went onto the pitch, attempted to assault the referee, and just everything just went down south from there. We had the needed tear gas to disperse them at some point. But the question still remains, why does it continue to persist in Nigerian football? Maybe I can start by being a devil's advocate and saying maybe it's because our fans are not quite so knowledgeable about football, and so that's why they might not have the right idea regarding the question, the calls that the referee made.
Well, Tunde, I don't think it's a Nigerian problem. When you talk about fan violence, it's a global problem.
It's a global problem, yes.
Although different countries have
different
degrees of this fan violence. In the case of Nigeria, I would think that because we lack some of the facilities that will make it easy for the organizers of the league to trace the people behind this
violence,
misbehavior. That's one of the reasons why it persists. Because if you look at England, for example, where you have CCTV all over the place,
yes,
where you have about 32 cameras actually covering the game.
You also have match day stewards,
exactly,
who are completely focused on the crowd and not the game on the pitch.
Your seat number is known.
Yes.
Your section of the crowd is known.
Yes.
You know, and so many other.
You also have a database of known hooligans and hoodlums.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, of course, there was this horrendous event, that involved Liverpool and another. I can't recall the name of the club now, where about 96 fans died. I think that was a rude awakening for English fans. I'm not saying that we have to wait for such an accident to happen in Nigeria before Nigerian fans actually wake up to, how dangerous fan violence can be. But I think if we had some of these things that we mentioned in place, it will curb the violence, because fans know that, look, if I misbehave, I can still be picked up thereafter. Maybe the police will just knock on my door at night, and I won't be sleeping at home. So that will help a great deal. Otherwise, the next thing is for the fans to be actually to be well educated about how the referees reach some of these decisions. But let me quickly admit, Tunde, that when fans are boiling, everybody will forget about what the rule says. Because football is a
very emotional game.
Very emotional game. And that split second where you feel I should have a penalty and I don't have it, you lose all sense of control, and you will have done what you shouldn't do before you realize that, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
What about the insinuation? What about the insinuation that some of these clubs actually instigate these fans to carry this out? Is this possible?
It's not impossible.
It's both ways. Some say that the home team uses the fans to intimidate the visiting teams and the referees.
Yes.
Some actually say the away teams use it also incite the violence so as to, how do I put it, misdirection, so that they can create some kind of problems that will favor them.
Absolutely. Now, both scenarios are possible, and in fact, both scenarios have happened frequently in Nigerian football in the past.
They have.
Absolutely.
So it's not a fairy tale.
It's not a fairy tale.
Okay.
But I think in recent years, because of the rapport, between the LMC and the club sides, there have been a lot of discussion. There have been a lot of agreements on how each club should manage when they are playing at home. And I think some of the clubs, they are responding to this dialogue, and they are educating their fans, and they know they can get results away from home. So some of them now understand that, look, if I don't get a result at home, I can get it away from home. I mean, this same week they were talking about when we had this fan violence, there were actually 2 other away wins.
Yeah, okay? I was going to talk about that. Shooting Stars Football Club, your beloved Shooting Stars. Well, a lot of people's beloved club. But lost 3-0 at home, and I've checked the history books. That is the biggest ever defeat by Shooting Stars at home.
Today, that's just by the way. That's not the point of discussion.
But I know you don't want to go there.
But I just brought up that episode to say, look, I think
commendations must go to people of Ibadan.
And talk about
nothing happened.
Nothing happened. For Shooting Stars to lose 3 goals to nil at home and nothing happened.
It's so
that's why I say some of these clubs, they've already started work on educating their fans, and they know that, okay, maybe next week Shooting Stars can go away to win. So the same thing I expect, Sunshine Stars Football Club, the officials to do with their fans. But Tunde, without holding brief for the club officials, sometimes these fans just take the laws into their own hands. And unfortunately, it's the club that will pay for it ultimately. Okay? So I think part of the solution, of course, going forward, will be the kind of punishment that the LMC makes out of these clubs. Because people have been complaining that maybe some of these punishments are not stringent enough.
Yeah, but you also talk about the fact if they punish the clubs, the clubs are not at fault.
Well, it's inevitable.
They were not now on the club to ensure that they improve security, match the security.
Yes, it's inevitable that the club will have to pay part of the price. Okay, when this kind of
what about banishment? Does that really work? We've seen clubs banished almost like Sunshine Stars might be banished to, let's
wherever.
say Kaduna now. That's almost 500 kilometers away from home.
Yeah.
Does it work? This kind of punishments work?
It hasn't really worked, but that should not,
stop us
from, imposing such punishment. Okay? Because look, for God's sake, it's still your primary responsibility at the club to put your crowd in check. Okay? And we talk about CCTV, in some of the European football venues. Maybe it's time that Nigerian club sides have to start, looking at investing in that as well.
But the same clubs that haven't paid salaries now want to do CCTV.
Well, we are saying that we want Nigerian football to get to the highest level.
So those are the sacrifices you must
make. Those are
make.
the prices we have to pay. So what other things, other leagues are doing, we have to find ways of doing them if we really want to belong in the classes where they are.
Well, that's Mumini Alao speaking about his own opinion regarding fan violence in Nigeria. It doesn't work well for anyone. It also destroys the brand equity of the Nigerian Professional Football League and domestic football as a whole. So that has been this edition of Soccer Talk with Mumini Alao. Please make sure that you continue to watch our subsequent episodes, and please, when you go to MPFL venues, try and behave responsibly. It doesn't do anyone any good. Thank you so much, Mumini, for joining us.
You're welcome today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you same time next week. Bye-bye.